This is a bit different from what I normally do on this channel. I'm just going to read one of my favourite poems, and it's from a book called The Way We Live by Kathleen Jamie. Kathleen's now quite a famous writer, poet, travel writer, nature writer. She's highly respected as a writer. But I first heard her read this poem. She was already established as a writer, but I heard her in 1990 when I was on a Arvin course in Yorkshire at Hepstonstall, and Kathleen was the guest reader one evening, and she read a number of things, but she read this poem, The Way We Live, and it made such an impression on me, and I still love it. It's still one of my favourite poems. I like it because it reminds me of some dear friends of mine who used to live in an apartment in Leith in Edinburgh, up those brown dark stone steps, echoey steps that are kind of characteristic of those Scottish cities in the poorer quarters really. It reminds me and takes me right back to driving over Rannoch Moor for the first time in 1968. Three of us in November in a car with no heating, where we were going to camp in Glencoe and then try and climb some mountains with snow and ice. A terrible failed project, but we were young and enthusiastic. And it also reminds me of the 1980s when the poem was set, and the kind of social atmosphere of the 1980s, and also living in southeast London as a student way back in the 60s. It carries a lot of memories for me, all rolled into this short poem. But even if I didn't have any of those memories, I still think it would be a gorgeous piece of work. So I'm just going to read the poem now. And it is the title poem from the book, so it's called The Way We Live by Kathleen Jamie. Pass the tambourine. Let me bash out praises to the Lord God of movement, to absolute non-friction, flight and the scary side. Death by avalanche, birth by failed contraception. Of chicken tandoori and reggae loud from tenements, commitment, driving fast and unswerving friendship. Of t-shirts on pulleys, gyros and Bombay. Barmen, dreaming waitresses with many fake gold bangles. Of airports, impulse and waking to uncertainty. To strip lights, motorways, or that pantheon, the mountains. To overdrafts and grafting and the fit, slow pulse of wipers as you're creeping over Rannoch, while the god of moorland walks abroad with his entourage of freezing fog, his bodyguard of snow. Of endless gloaming in the north, of Asiatic swelter to laundrettes, anecdotes, passions and exhaustion. Final demands and dead men, the skeletal grip of government. To misery and elation mixed, the sod and caprice of landlords, to the way it fits, the way it is, the way it seems to be, let me bash out praises. Pass the tambourine.